Hello and welcome to this video on how to fill out your end of course assessment form. Because what fun! What fun is this? This is fun. Okay, let's go ahead and get right to it. You have to fill out one of these for each course. So let's say this is English 111, section 99. The course name, this would be College Comp or whatever the name of the course. The semester, fall. What year is this? 2019. Okay, what's your name? There you go. Your program. So this is English. Or maybe Gen Ed or whatever. Okay, department. This would be Gen Ed and Interdisciplinary Studies. Okay, number of students enrolled. How do you find out the number of students enrolled? Well, actually you can do that by going to, you go to BearsNet, and you click on faculty, and you click on faculty home. Okay, and then you can see down here, these are the list of the courses. So you're going to go to select area and hit class list. Now when I do that, it's going to actually show me the student's name. So I've actually taken the screenshot and kind of blocked that stuff out. So when I click on class list, I see something like this. Okay, this shows me the course, and you can see right there, whoop, how many students are enrolled. That's where you get that number. 18 students are enrolled in the class. That is the most accurate way to figure out that number. So let's go back to here. So in this case, it would be 18. Okay, now note, you cannot fill out this part until all your grades are done. So you need to figure out how many students had different grades, whatever. So let's just say this is not going to add up. Let's go 2, and let's go 2, 2, and 3, and 2, and 2, and 2. And yes, if you're a math person, you're like, dude, what are you doing? Say I just roll with it. Okay, let's make sure that's pretty. And then let's say there are no I grades. Okay. Alrighty, so let's say this is our breakdown of our grades. The one that really matters for this form is the Z grades. Please follow established SHA procedures when determining a Z grade. There, I said that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and fill out the rest of this form. So you filled all this out. You've broken down how many students have gotten it. Now, the student learning outcome. Well, where do I get this information? Well, some of this you're going to have to probably get from your program coordinator, and some of it you can just take from your syllabus. So, student learning outcome as stated on your course syllabus. So let's take a look at a course syllabus. Boom. So this is a course syllabus for English 111, and here is a student learning outcome. I'm like, okay, well, there's the outcome. We have one student learning outcome, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my form, and I'm going to just paste that in there. Boom. Okay, look at that. It's all bright red. Isn't that pretty? Okay, you can change that to whatever color you want. Okay, so that's where you get that. And then the next thing you're going to do is the assessment activity. What is the assessment activity? Well, again, if I go back to my my syllabus rather, it should have that assessment for student learning outcome. Okay, and again, if you don't have this in your syllabus, please contact your program coordinator and get this information. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and just paste that in there. Okay, and then what linkage to PLO? So we're going to go back to my syllabus. Oh, it's number 1. I can remember that without having to copy and paste it. So I'll go back to here, and I will put 1. Alrighty. All right. Now, we know that this assessment is, let's see, it's a paper. It's a research paper. So over here, I'm going to click it's a report or a paper. It could be anything. Let's say the assessment activity is a final exam, a multiple choice. Well, then you click exam. You click whatever button over here indicates what kind of assessment tool it is. Now you'll note in this one right here, you'll have the goal set. And again, you'll have to get this from your program coordinator. One that's fairly common is, let's say, 70% of the students will have scored at least a 70 or more. That's the goal, that we want to have 70% of the students score at least a 70. And again, this is going to be unique to each particular course. Please contact your program coordinator or department head if you are not sure what numbers go there, okay? And then here's the fun part right here. Now, please pay attention. This is it'll be a little tricky, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, we have to figure out if we met the target. So we know what our targets are right now. First thing we need to do is figure out what number should go here. Well, we say that we have 18 students enrolled. However, remember how I told you that the Z grades kind of make a big difference? Yeah, they do, because we really didn't have 18 that ended the course. We only had 16. So the first thing I'm going to do is right here is that I'm going to say 16. So it's this number right here, the number of students enrolled, minus the number of Z grades. Okay, so really 16 students were still left in the class at the end of the semester. This number right here is actually how many of them scored at least a 70% on the assessment tool. So I would go to my grade book and I would look and say, okay, well, my assessment tool, let's say is, and I will look at the raw data and I will count up how many students scored a 70 or higher. So let's say I had, let's say I had 8. 8 of them scored at least a 70 or higher. Well, again, if we do math, because who doesn't like to do math, we'll say, well, how do we do? Well, 8 divided by 16 equals 50%. Okay, so 50% of the students met the target. Did we meet the goal? The answer is no, we did not meet it. So we're going to click, kind of highlight not met, and then put that in bold. Okay, right. If you did meet it, and let's unbold that, then you would say, yes, the target was met, and you would bold it. Okay, but all hope is not lost, and we're not done yet. Okay, so let's just put that back. So right now it's not met. But some of you are going to say, but wait, that's not quite fair, because of these 16 students, let's say that 5 of the 16 did not even submit the this final assignment, whatever this was right here, okay? So let's say 5 of the 16 didn't even do it. So that really dragged down the numbers. Well, in that case, we're going to say, okay, well, we still have to do a little bit of math here, okay, which is so if we had 5 students who didn't take it, then really we had 8 students out of 11, okay? So in this case, it would be, we have 8 students who actually scored, because again, we're just looking at the raw data, but instead of 16, we're only looking at 11 of them, because we just take this number right here and minus 5, because 5 of them didn't even do it. We just want to look at the students who actually submitted the assignment. Okay, so of these students who submitted it, so 11 students submitted it, and 8 of them actually scored a 70 or higher. Well, Mr. Math again, what does he say about that? 8 divided by 11. So actually we had 72%, okay? So of the students who actually completed the assignment, 72% of them, okay, met the target. That's just important to note, because we want to make sure we understand, hey, how big of this number is impacted by the students who didn't actually do that. Now that you have this data figured out, you can comment on what went well, what didn't go well, and improvements. Maybe you need to say, hey, our targets were too low, our targets are too high. Or we can say, hey, we need to update this assessment. The instructions weren't clear. Whatever suggestions, but you have to type something here. You need to type stuff here, okay? Because this is the kind of the assessment plan. What's working, what's not working, and what do you want to do to make improvements? And here are some suggestions down here that you could, to say, well, basically we want to make sure that they revise their activities leading up to whatever. Actually, go on that, right-click, hit Properties, and then you can hit Check, and you can check that, and okay. But you can just kind of use this as like some guidelines as far as for stuff that you would fill in here. And then down here, you can have other comments. So if there's other things, you can have other comments that you can put down there. All right, so you need to fill out all this particular thing. Now, some of you say, well, that's great, but I have a class that has more than one SLO. What am I going to do? Well, that's a great question. Well, very simply, I'm just going to left click and kind of highlight this whole thing, woo, and then I'm going to right click, hit copy, go down to this end, I'm going to hit down here, go back up here, and then hit boom, paste, and you will notice that I have then basically copied, and I can keep doing that for on and on and on, depending on how many SLOs I have. So that is how you fill out the end of course assessment form.